All right, we got some more fun stuff going on here. We're going to unbox the rest of my stuff from Newegg for Newegg for the budget build. This stuff all came in yesterday. I've been chomping at the bit to get into it, but I've not had the opportunity yet. Man, I packed this thing really like what's it called? Jenga. Oh, the biggest thing in here is the power supply. Look at that beefy boy. All right, well, might as well start with this guy, huh? So this is the Corsair RMX 750X. This guy is a obviously 750 watt power supply. It's on the tier rated on the PSU cultist tier list as tier A, which is you've got A, B, C. I don't know if they have anything less than that. I think they only put stuff on there. I'll have to double check it again that makes at least the list. You only ever want to buy anything that's at least a tier C, and then only for like a budget build. But as I talked about in the build video where I'm talking about why I'm doing what I'm doing, I went way overkill with the power supply for what is going to be the first iteration of this build. But if you're going to spend money on anything, in my opinion, it should be on the power supply. People like to talk about future proofing and all that kind of stuff, which I don't know. Is that even really a thing? I mean, can you really future proof something? I don't think it's possible. I think you can leave yourself a little bit of room for growth, but I don't know about future proofing. But if you buy yourself a good power supply, it can last you at least through a couple, maybe 3 PC builds. I suspect this is just, this is not based on anything except my own drawn on life experience here. I think that PSUs and graphics cards and systems as a whole will continue to get more efficient, and graphics cards processors will probably, I know right now, like, they're getting crazy high, right? But in terms of power usage, but I think that over time, I think maybe the next generation or maybe 2 generations from now, they're gonna figure out a way to make things not as power hungry. At least I hope so. Maybe not though. Maybe that's just the cost of doing business now and having higher performance. You got to put the juice to it. That would make sense to me as well. Power cord. Oh yeah. If you didn't watch my previous video, you should probably go watch it because I talk a lot about why I picked these things. And again, I spent money on the power supply because it's going to support future upgrades for graphics cards, and it's fully modular. So, I've only got to plug in the cords that I need. One thing that I didn't talk about in that video is the lack of cable extensions. I gotta be honest with you, I don't really like cable extensions. They look good, yeah, but these are long enough to reach, right? So you don't actually need an extension to reach anything. You're purely doing it for aesthetics. And what you end up with is 90% of your stock power cables stuck, in your PSU tray underneath, or you're trying to cable manage it and cram your back cover on and whatnot. Um, so I tried it with my last build here. I bought cable mods, cable extensions, and I just didn't like it. So I went and I ordered a custom, just a full custom cable set from Cable Mods because I needed a third PCIe cable anyway, and for some reason my EVGA power supply did not have three PCIe power cables. So I just ordered the full custom kit. We're not doing anything for that for this build because I think what was that 100 so it was around $100 for that custom kit, and it's cool and I like it, but that's totally superfluous. You do not need that, and you don't need cable extensions either. And for a budget build, cable extensions are going to cost you 30, 40, 50 bucks depending on what you select anyway. So, I put that money towards a power supply. I love that this thing is so small too. I was gonna try and slide it in there into the case and see how it fit in there, but I got the back panel back on. I'm not gonna mess with it. But so as you see here, you've got all of your individual. You got the. I have this upside down. Yeah, you can't read it. So your 24. Yeah, your 24 pin goes there. That must be EPS, SATA, PCIe CPU. Those are 666. Oh, okay, I see. There's three 6-pin SATA, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 PCIe or CPU 8 pins. I was a little worried for a second. I was like, wait a second here. My 3080 has 3 PCIe power. Well, I think I let the cat out of the bag there, so I may as well. So, this build is going to have a 1660 Super in it when we get going. But I have a ROG Strix 3080 at my disposal. And so, in order to show you the upgradeability of this system that I put together, I'm going to benchmark it with both the 1660 Super and the 3080, so you can see for fact that this thing is upgradable. That's just the screws in here to connect it to the case and some zip ties. One more thing about, cable extensions. Maybe it's just me, but I actually, look at these. The quality, and my EVGA cables look the same. I think they look fine. They're just black, but you've got braided mesh over the wires. They're not ketchup and mustard. I think they look pretty good, to be honest. So save your money. Use your cables that come with the power supply. Someday, if you want to change things up, you can buy custom cables or cable extensions if that suits you, but totally unnecessary. All right, what should we do next? How about this guy? I don't really need to open this up, but we'll do it anyway. So again, I selected this Crucial P3 because it's cheap and it's good. These are good drives. It's not Gen 4. It doesn't have DRAM, but I don't think my 970 Evo has DRAM either, to be honest. It does have 3D NAND, so it's, the original SSDs that didn't have DRAM that used a NAND flash memory, You know, they didn't have as much life out of them. They weren't as fast, but these newer generation ones don't have that problem. This thing is as fast as you need for um, for gaming, hands down. The only thing I couldn't find on this, maybe I'll see if I can find it in some of the documentation inside here. Not right now, but I don't know how many read-write cycles it's rated for. If I remember correctly, my 970 Evo is like 600 terabytes, so it can fill itself up and empty itself 600 times before it dies. This should be similar. I guess don't take my word for that because I'm literally just making that up, but Crucial's a good brand. I can't imagine that it's much worse. But this is a good drive. I'm probably going to buy a second one for my system because I put one of these in my system just for games. I've got all my programs and operating system and whatever on my Samsung. So I bought one of these just to put games on, and it's already full. Already full. Because I have a ton of games on there that, I mean, I'm not playing everything all at once, but especially for like doing benchmarks and stuff, I've got games on there. Like I'm not playing Modern Warfare 2 right now, for example, but I'm not going to take it off there because I'm using it to run benchmarks. So this guy, this was my free gift for buying that processor. It's supposed to be a screwdriver. Oh, there it is. So we got, does that pull out? No, we got a flathead on that side. Does that mean is this side? Okay. Oh, WTF. It's just a smaller flathead. I don't understand. Somebody help me make sense of this. Why did they give me two flatheads when, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but everything in a PC is a Phillips. I don't know if this is supposed to, it doesn't feel like it swaps or anything. So build with Intel, it says on here, but build what? A Tonka truck? I mean, there's nothing in my PC that needs a flathead. That's so weird. Okay, well, thanks, I guess, Intel. Whatever. This is our T-Force Vulcan Z memory. I bought this because it was cheap and it was good. See you catching the theme here? I'm going for value here, and to me, value means that when I spend money, I'm getting something worthwhile. And that's why I didn't go just as cheap as I possibly could with this, because that just doesn't make sense to me. Yeah, I could put a PC together for $500. You know, I could go out and buy an RX 580 for $75, $80 probably, and you know, I could buy a used B550 and a used, you know, 5600 CPU and you know, some POS $40 case that's fallen apart, you know, and could have a PC, but that just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. So this RAM, I mean, that's pretty smexy, right? Like this was $46. This feels really good. I think this is metal. It must be for cooling. It's got like its own built-in heatsink, I guess. Yeah, you can see the PCB is inside there, or the silicon, whatever. That's pretty chunky. It's a low profile though too, so I think you could use this. I don't think you're going to have any interference with an air cooler with these. They seem like they're going to sit pretty low. So these are 3200 megatransfers per second, DDR, or of course they're DDR4, CL16. This CPU that we're going to get into here next, that's the max memory that CPU supports. So that's what I did. I went and I shopped for, okay, what's some good memory that is 3200, and this is what I found. You don't have to get these. There's other stuff on the market. There's probably some G.Skill that's a similar price. I think Corsair is going to be more expensive. But if you have like a preference for Corsair or some other brand, memory is getting cheaper by the day. So this one, like I said, $46 on Newegg, 2x8, 16 gigs here. I don't know if you can find much cheaper than that that's still rated at 3200 megatransfers, but there's probably plus or minus $5 to $10. There's probably other options out there if you want. Do I want to open this? I guess let's open it, because I want to look at the cooler. Fighting with this little sticker on here because I don't want to just hulk my way into it. If you've seen a CPU, you've seen a CPU. That's why I was like, oh, we don't necessarily have to open this, but I have not seen this included box cooler. So, has anybody ever read one of these? I mean, I get it, they have to include it, but I'm just curious. Has anybody read one? This is like a puzzle. Just let me get the cooler out. Okay. Looks like we've got some thermal paste already applied there. Sorry, my light is blinding you. This is kind of good looking, isn't it? I don't hate this. It would be really cool. There's this little blue ring here. They should have made this RGB so it lights up. Even the Intel blue would be cool. Although I guess that wouldn't go with everybody's build, but that's nice looking. It's like a nice smoky, kind of gray, black plastic fins on the outside here. Obviously it says Intel on the fan. So yeah, so that will onto the CPU, and this guy will go up to the CPU fan header on the top of the motherboard, and bingo bango. And this is only a 60, I want to say this is still a 65 watt TDP CPU, but I don't remember now. Well, that's all a language I don't read. I'm almost 100% certain it doesn't say on the box, so that's fine. They do point out that discrete graphics are required since this is the F version of this processor. Also, I guess it's good that they have that thermal paste on there. It doesn't seem... Is that enough? I don't know. It might be. But I'll probably replace that with something better that I can apply myself. Because also I want to demo doing it. Not that you guys haven't seen that before, but here is the i3 13100F. Get it out of the light. Blinded by the light. I know that was terrible. Shut up. Got, what's that, fan splitter? IO shield. It looks like it's probably, you're not going to see that, but I think there's an M.2 screw holder screw in there. That looks like the same thing, which would make sense because there's two M.2 slots on this board. Although I got to tell you, I really do like the, I forget what they call it now, Q latch maybe? Some kind of latch system that the Asus boards have. That's just like a little swivelly plastic, like a little nylon nut type thing that just is permanently on the motherboard, and you just twist it to unlock it, put your M.2 in, push it down, twist the thing, bingo bango. Okay, so this is it. This will be my first Gigabyte board. I've always been a fan of Asus, but unfortunately Asus does not really make a budget-friendly board. That being said, if you're ever in the market for a better motherboard, the Asus Tough versions of like a Z690, Z790 are excellent motherboards. They'll get you headroom for overclocking, lots of features. You know, the Strix is going to have a few more bells and whistles on it for like $100 more, but the Tough is plenty good. So we've got our M.2 here with the heatsink. Our second M.2 slot down here. We've obviously got our RAM channels here, which the CPU, remember, only supports 2 DIMM slots. So we're going to be running dual channel memory and cannot upgrade to 4. Our LGA 1700 socket here. We've got our VRMs and capacitors. And if any of you are really good with the circuitry aspect of this, because I admit I am not, will you tell me, so it looks like this one over here is for the RAM, and I know a lot of them have 2. Am I right? Is this VRM for the RAM? And then what, I looked for this on like overclockers and everything. I couldn't really find it. I didn't spend a lot of time, but it was not easily accessible information anyway. I'm trying to understand the configuration of the VRMs, and you know why there's 4 here and 5 there, and does each one need a capacitor? Can they have 2 capacitors? Is that what's better about more expensive boards, et cetera, et cetera. So if you know, hit me up in the comments. Here's our 24 pin. We got some plugs over here for SATA drives. We've only got one 8-pin EPS connector here. We don't have the extra +4 that you would see on an overclocking board, which is fine because we do not have an unlocked CPU anyway. Reasonable amount of I/O here. I kind of chuckle because it still has a DVI, but whatever. Basic audio outs. But it does have a 2.5 gig LAN. A lot of the cheaper boards did not have that. They only had a 1 gig LAN. All right, well, we'll see how I feel after I get some food in me. I may move on today to doing the actual build. So you may be able to see that sooner than later. But the other thing is my GPU that I got on eBay, my 1660 Super, is not arriving until Friday, which is actually better. It was initially not supposed to be here until Saturday. Today's Wednesday. So I will have all of the pieces here very soon. This corner is totally crushed. But the board was fine. So I guess the box did its job. All right, so that's that. We're gonna move on to the build. Next will be the next video. We'll get this thing fired up, and then we'll get some benchmarking done, and we'll show you what exactly this thing is going to be all about. Until next time, peace.